Hello from Tire Technology in Hannover. I'm here on the Birla Carbon stand with John and Joe, and we'll talk a little bit about carbon black. We'll talk a little bit about Continua. Mm-hmm. John, what is new from what are the news from Birla Carbon?
Well, I think the breaking news is actually what happened at the end of last year, which was the acquisition of Nanocyl. Mm-hmm. You know, the carbon nanotube firm that we acquired in Belgium. So we're all very excited about that because, you know, that opens up a lot of new avenues for us. Obviously, the area in energy systems is the principal reason. But, I mean, I've been stunned by the amount of interest it's generated from the plastics industry and from the rubber industry as well, because people understand some of the benefits of that material and they've been waiting for this moment to be able to work with a larger player to sort of accelerate the growth. You know, our knowledge in the area of compounding seems to be helping and encouraging them to take that step with us. So we're super excited about that, and we're working on the integration of the team into the world of Birla Carbon.
Exciting, very exciting news.
Yeah.
Where do you position these materials? You talked about conductive battery applications.
Yes.
Will you also position them as highly reinforcing materials, or is it more conductive materials for rubber? Because conductivity in tires can be important as well, especially in the tread.
Indeed. I think that the interest that we're hearing most is related to conductivity. I think it remains to be seen whether we can get benefits from the strengthening side of things as well.
Yeah. Excellent. What about Continua? What is new with Continua? You've been building the brand, you've been adding, and Joe has been presenting on all the conferences. What is new with Continua?
Well, I mean, it's a continual effort on our behalf to push forward all of our NDAs and our development agreements with our customers. We've got a vast number of projects underway. Many customers are, as you can imagine, we're super interested and continue to work with us. So I've been heartened by the amount of work that's going on. We're selling in tires, we're selling in plastics, we're selling in coatings. So we're already commercial, which is good. That gives us the heart to continue the journey. Yes. But you know, there's also challenges with this material, and you know, one of the biggest challenges I see is that people perpetuate this myth that it is carbon black.
Yes.
You know? In fact, I might even blame you for calling it RCB in the first place. You know, not Continua.
No, it wasn't my fault. It wasn't me.
Okay. Was it you?
When I went.
The fact that we call it is called recovered carbon black.
Well, I didn't help.
We should have thought of a better name, I guess.
Yeah.
I agree. So what name do you have?
Well, we call it Sustainable Carbonaceous Materials.
True.
And that is a much better name because that's much more reflecting the reality of what it is.
Yes.
So often, you know, we see announcements from people talking about their RCB being drop-inable and so on. That's crazy. It's nonsense, and it's not helpful. And you know, I think probably people are investing in companies talking about that and discovering later that it's not really
true. It isn't.
And then bad things happen.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we've got to work really hard to build the reputation around SCM and give people the confidence that it can work and it does have an important role to play. And, you know, that takes time. You know, as I said before, we've got multiple work streams at different stages, but with every new commercialization, it gives us that hope and that encouragement to continue the journey, because it's important.
Already you take a lot of risk out for the takers of this material, because it's a big difference. You have all the experience of Birla Carbon, the supply chain, you got experts, technical service, world-class people.
That's right.
That's taking a lot of risk out for the buyers, compared to, let's say, mom and pop RCB companies, of whom buyers might not know whether they exist next year because they're so small and maybe their investment doesn't come true. So you take all of that out of the equation, and maybe the only challenge you have is a scale-up of your supplier, because they will need to get to the big factory, and that, of course, is a time scale. But
it's a time scale thing, we've been fine so far in terms of the way that the demand is building, so we're not concerned about that. We will be in time to support the customers through the scale up. It feels like customers are going a bit slow in the adoption. I think that There are challenges with homologating this kind of material. The price point is different. That takes a certain amount of digestion.
Yes.
Because combining products like this into consumer products is a marketing challenge as well as a technical one. They have to, our customers particularly, have to be able to convey the additional value that's being created from the components, and that's not easy. And there's probably only a small segment of the market that's really willing to pay for that right now.
Yes.
But it will
they get more value from you as well as from, let's say, an RCB company. Because you put the whole supply chain security into.
Oh yeah. I mean, when we were prior to making the decision to invest in Continua and to do this, we spent a lot of time talking to the customers, and it was a what if kind of conversation. And when we said this is what we're thinking about doing, and here's why we're thinking about doing it, they're going, thank goodness. Thank goodness somebody's actually going to step in and do this correctly. Because we've been burned a few times already. There's just a lot of issues in handling this stuff. We need somebody with some credibility and capability, which we think we have. I mean, we're a humble organization. We don't claim to be the greatest and the best, but we work very hard.
Certainly tier one, arguably leading, or
that's very kind
whatever.
It's very kind of you to say, but it's not something that we focus on. I mean, our goal is to be, the most respected and the most dynamic, and most sustainable carbon black company. And
I like that.
This is part of what we're trying to do.
Yes.
It's not to be the biggest. Leave that to the other guys, but we do want to be the one that's most highly regarded.
Yes.
We're also trying to show leadership with ASTM type activities. So working within D36, you mentioned the new classification system. That's really a draft, but we are working with the other stakeholders to make sure that we've got the standards we need to classify, to test, to evaluate this material, create rules for the generation of LCAs so our customers have the right environmental information. So we have a full LCA for our product, but
it's
we're
not
probably
easy.
going to have to rewrite it when the new PCR comes out, the product category rules, but we're trying our best to lead by example. REACH registration, so continuous REACH registered. So it's going to take time. There's a lot of startups, there's a lot of good startups out there, but the industry needs
leaders.
To develop,
Yes.
as John says, needs leaders to show the way, to help the industry develop.
Yes.
Because it's no good just one supplier.
And your partner SIGTech is doing the same. I mean, they really help the peers with the REACH registration, with the work they do.
Sure. Yeah, we're a good team together. It works well.
What else about carbon black? How do you see world markets, or maybe even the difficult European markets, John?
I think that in general, the inventory buildup that was really a problem with growth last year has been unwound now, and so we've got a better indication of what market demand is like, and it's okay. It's okay. I think customers are beginning to see some upside to the market demand. Obviously, if inflation continues to fall and consumers have more money in their pockets, then they might make different decisions about buying their tires. I mean, in the truck and bus and off the road sector, that's driven by cost of money and so on. So that's all about making decisions to invest. And again, lower interest rates will support that for the future. So in Europe and in the US, we're kind of sensing that things are going to get better fairly soon. Certainly, all that inventory is gone. India is going very well. India is our home market. We know it very well. We're investing in a new plant there again.
There's a lot of capacity addition, not only by you. But
there is, but if you look at the results of our customers in India, if you look at the announcements for investments that they're making in new capacity, you look at the GDP rates for India. It's the place to be, and so we're excited to be part of that growth story. And then in Southeast Asia and China, there's an interesting dynamic going on, obviously, there between China, which is obviously by far the largest manufacturing location for carbon black. It's one you can't ignore.
It's like 8 million tons, right?
Yeah.
Half of the capacity. And they don't use the capacity for some reason.
It's running at about 55 to 65% capacity utilization typically. But a lot of that's driven by feedstock costs, and that changes what's happening in the market from an import-export standpoint. So, but we're there, and we're also in Southeast Asia, and so we have customers all over the world. You know the kind of footprint we have.
Yes.
So we're well positioned to support people wherever they are.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to tell our watchers?
Thank you first of all for supporting us and being such a strong proponent of SCM. I know how passionate you are about the topic, and we need people like you to keep it front and center with the industry. And so thank you for that, for the opportunity to speak a little bit about it, and I look forward to celebrating some more success with you in the future.
Thank you, John. Absolutely. Thank you, John and Joe.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, Martin.